Yes, I am part of the 1%. The 1% that didn't cancel their PlayStation Classic pre-order. Will I regret it? Maybe, but let the pain begin. I'm doing this for you. Okay, you realize that? You realize that? Ugh. My favorite video game console of all time, now in a neat little tiny package mimicking the original box that the PlayStation was released in. How awesome! It looks great! Woo-hoo. Now for a slow and drawn-out unboxing of each piece of... Nah, I'm just kidding. Here is what you get. Of course, there are two original-style PlayStation controllers with no shock and no thumbsticks. Compared to the original version, the look is spot on, except for this sort of matte finish to the plastic shell. Who knows? It's been so long, it could just be the greasy, oily hands of time polishing my original controller up. And it does feel a little bit lighter as well. But the buttons all feel solid, so that's a big, fat A+ so far. Then we've got an HDMI cable, there's a USB power cable with no power brick, bunch of cheapskates! Oh, they got some paperwork. Ooh, look at that. So complicated. How do I hook it up? Oh. And of course, this tiny 45% scaled PlayStation. Ooh, now let's compare. Here is the original composite-out PlayStation, which is showing its dirty age. You can see for the classic, they didn't recreate that same style in the rear. It's more similar to the later revisions. Yep, that's a little bit closer in color, too. Big Papa PlayStation and his lil baby. Oh, you could even fit lil baby inside Big Papa and... Okay, admittedly, that didn't sound right. The Classic even accounts for the expansion slot on the back, but it doesn't actually open up, as you can see here. Oh, come on now. No opening. You know, if it did open up, that would have been a nice way to, I don't know, add some extra games, but whatever. The power, reset, and open buttons are all functional and clicky, which is nice. The detail is very solid. Alright, so far, so great. The hardware looks very impressive, but now we gotta hook this thing up and see what gets pooped out. And can I pause for a moment and say how much I love the way the controllers look legit at the ends, even with the little USB connectors. Ooh, it's just like the original shrunk down. And now with a little index finger action. Let's power this thing on. I love the interface, which is based on the original PlayStation's memory card and media player menus. The rotating games list does the job and allows you to see all of the games at once by looking in the background of the wheel of games. Pretty cool. Each game can make use of a full memory card for saves, and if you press reset during gameplay, it will also save a resume point so you can pick right back up where you left off. But you only get one, not a bunch of save states here. The open button can be pressed to virtually change discs for those lengthy games like Final Fantasy VII. I like that they threw that in instead of just automatically switching the discs for you. A little bit of nostalgia vision. I like that. But now we gotta look at the games. Battle Arena Toshinden. It looks fine, not the best upscaling in the world, but boy, does it run slow. Really slow. Noticeably slow, with a nice little touch of input lag. My favorite. Unfortunately, this is likely due to the use of the European PAL version of the game, as opposed to the North American version that we would have received here in TSC, but let the lazy begin. There is some slight stutter as well, not to the point where you want to give yourself a full knockout with Rungo's giant stone club, but it's definitely there. On to Cool Borders 2! Watch out! It's another European PAL version, and for a rough game like Cool Borders 2, this is not good. The game is nearly unplayable. Combined with some horrific input lag, I could barely pull off any discernible tricks without suffering from a Christmas-ruining spinal injury. Hey man, snowboarding, that's a dangerous business. Destruction Derby! Hey, come here. Guess what? PAL version, though it didn't seem as offensive to the gameplay in this instance, but the inability to hook up two PlayStations is a problem. Goodbye link-up multiplayer. Having this menu still just feels awkward since it's a feature that is unusable. Now, the game itself plays fine despite the original Destruction Derby being so bare bones. I enjoyed the destruction, so it gets a pass. Final Fantasy VII. Here it is, one of the greatest RPGs ever. Love it. Don't care what you say, it's not overrated, and thankfully, it is the NTSC North American release. FF7 looks pretty good aside from the dithering in the textures. It's a little rough, but I legitimately was enjoying myself when I played this game, but something felt off. The audio is all jacked up. During transitions, the audio would stutter, or skip, or even slow down. It was most noticeable when transitioning from battle to the victory results screen. Ugh! Yuck! How dare you ruin Nobuo Uematsu's great musical score? I just won't stand for it. I'm sitting, I'm not standing. Grand Theft Auto! Hey, that is not my language. PAL strikes again with the UK English. As expected, this is a tough game to play both visually and in terms of controls. Oh, sorry about it. Oh, Grand Theft Auto, it just really doesn't stand up to the test of age and time and the PAL version. It's rough. So it's on to Intelligent Cube. Back to NTSC, boy! This game played great, and dang, I forgot how fun it is. Running around as Elliot, dropping the cubes through the floor and trying not to get knocked off the edge. Good stuff. And just listen to that amazing musical score. They really went all out for the cube. Great puzzling gameplay with an awesome style. Great experience. Also, I learned that my IQ is 9, apparently. Jumping Flash. Hey, pal. Hey, pal. Are you my pal? Are you my pal? Nope, not here in America, because your 50 hertz PAL signal does not play nicely with my American 60 hertz. It hurts my eyes. Aside from the horrifying creatures in the cutscenes, Jumping Flash is a super fun 3D platforming collect-a-thon. Shoot some frogs, hop around as a robot rabbit, and enjoy the dated yet colorful scenery. Metal Gear Solid. Whew, I can't believe I played more Siphon Filter back in the day compared to MGS. This game is still amazing. The stealth gameplay, great music, the amazing voice acting, the VR missions. Come on, this is a classic for the classic. Love it. I was having so much fun that 37 minutes in, I was just following the mice in the ventilation shaft.
Follow the mice.
Couldn't put it down. Mr. Driller. Time for a little... Good Lord. Oh, man. Oh, what is going on with the soundtrack. That volume is not properly adjusted. Actually, all the sound in this game seems off, a bit staticky and peakish and crunchy, but the gameplay is fine, a little boring for my taste, until that beat drops and it gets super loud and distorted. Next up, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, a unique puzzle platformer with all kinds of style and a story of new and tasty treats being made out of, well, your own people. That's not good, you better save them. Unfortunately, the PAL version combined with input lag makes this game very difficult to play smoothly, especially with tricky jumps. But it's still a great game. Rayman! The sprite work in this game scaled pretty well, and it is one heck of a gorgeous looking game. It's gorgeous! And a little bit of lag does get in the way, but the original Rayman is a solid classic style platformer. Resident Evil Director's Cut. Ew, 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 ew. Black and white censored cutscenes. Ah, shame on you. Shame on you for giving us this version. And it's the PAL version, come on. Otherwise, it plays fine. Resident Evil's survival horror gameplay moves at such a slow pace that it's perfect for dealing with any lag or stutter you may experience. Plays great, and it's a classic horror game. Revelations Persona. Yes, the start of the Persona series. This is a super expensive RPG now, and it's got some first-person dungeon crawling, plenty of turn-based battles, and quite the world map interface if you've never played it before. The turn-based role-playing games hold up pretty well on the PlayStation Classic, even if the emulation gets a bit funky. Because, hey, RPGs, you don't need those twitchy reflexes. Get them out of here. Take your time. Next, it's R4 Ridge Racer Type 4. The cutscenes have probably the worst compression artifacts out of all of the games so far. It's rough, but the music still gets me in the mood for some racing. But the other sounds do not. There are these weird echoey sounds throughout the races, and it constantly sounds like I'm driving in tunnels. Not good. Not sure what's up with the emulation here, but the racing itself is solid. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Wow. Just wow. I didn't have anything special to say about this when the game was announced for the PlayStation Classic list, but hot dog, I forgot how fun this puzzle game is. The cute chibi characters, unlockables, and plenty of challenge. I just couldn't put it down. I was getting addicted. I wanted some more of that good. Oh, yeah. You are stoned. Get it? Oh yeah, I'm getting it. Siphon Filter. Oh my, I'll never forget those freaky pasted on faces. It was a different time back then, my friends. A scarier time, perhaps?
How is that possible?
It's not.
This game is amazing for the taser weapon alone. What's that? A bad guy hiding in a bar? Tase 'em! Tons of terrorists with assault rifles? Tase 'em! Snipers shooting at you from the rooftops? Yes! You can freaking tase 'em! From the ground. Amazing. And this ain't some knock-you-out taser situation. This taser straight up murders dudes. They will literally catch fire from being over-tased. This is a great game, and a great butt. Ooh, look at that butt. Tekken 3. Despite being PAL again, the gameplay feels right, but it could just be that Tekken smoothness. Tekken 3 is one of the best. What can I say? Great game, and you know my boy, Yoshimitsu, be bringing it. Until he doesn't bring it, that is.
Continue.
Well, it's mostly me not bringing it, let's be honest. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Yes. Great, here we go. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, already not a Game Dave approved game, and yes, another PAL version, but oh, the PAL frame rate, hertz, stuttery issues are nothing compared to the horrid controls and gameplay issues. This is not a game that should have been on the PlayStation Classic. What was this, a freebie that Sony got just to plop on the console? It's a glitchy mess, and as soon as I see an enemy, oh, I am died, I am deadified, I'm no longer living. And when it was time to reload, whoops! Now this is one glorious crash if I have ever seen one. Just a few pixels of vertical game screen. Am I somehow still playing the game? What is this? Hey, have you ever put a dirty diaper in the microwave? No, you haven't, because it stinks, just like this game. Twisted Metal. The ultimate grungy video game experience on the original PlayStation. Look how gross these dudes are. Oh my god. Horror faces. But the gameplay is not gross. It's super fast, explosive, and destructive. It does have some seriously crunchy graphics, but this is good stuff. Oh, and here we are at the end. Wild Arms, a fantastic Japanese role-playing game with great music, a wonderful sprite-based style, and cutesy 3D combat. I love it, and thanks to its slower-paced, turn-based style, it plays great. Wow, 20 PlayStation classics. A little bit of nostalgia, some fun, some disappoint. My new favorite word. But the big question is, should you buy the PlayStation Classic? The short answer, no. The long answer, no! But seriously, let's break this down. The games list is not the problem with the PlayStation Classic. A majority of these games are great fun. The issue is the emulation and poor execution by Sony. Oh, let me check the weather forecast. Looks like there's gonna be a 100% chance of phoning it in. And I was so irritated every time I saw that stupid Sony Computer Entertainment Europe pop up on the screen. No offense to Europe, but they should have made separate versions. One for Japan, one for Europe, and one for North America. It could not have been that hard to flash the board. And boom, that would have been one of the most major problems solved. 9 out of the 20 games are PAL versions. As I mentioned briefly, this leads to weird slowdown, frame drops, audio issues, all sorts of problems when displaying PAL through an NTSC setup. It was a stupid call to mix these formats on the PlayStation Classic. It was stupid. Gosh, they got my hopes up. They got my hopes up. This announcement, PlayStation Classic. Game Dave, this is the classic you've been waiting for. But no! You suck, Game Dave. We hate you. We hate people who love the PlayStation and care enough to notice all these problems. Previous PlayStation emulation was so good. It took effort. It was done in-house. The PS2 and PS3's backwards compatibility, is great, is good. But this time they just crap out an inferior product to make a little bit of nostalgia cash. My biggest fear is this system will taint the true experience of these classic games. So much for true and proper preservation of these game experiences. This is not something you should buy if you are in the know and in this gaming community to where you really understand the problems going on with this system. Even for a casual gamer, they say, oh, I remember the PlayStation, I pick it up, play a couple games. Even for you, it's probably a bad idea. You should probably just steer clear and buy yourself some PSN Classic titles. Now maybe, if it was $20 cheaper, and the community has successfully and wonderfully hacked the system, it would be worth a purchase. But for now, it's simply an angering slap to the face for the fans of the original PlayStation that we loved. My only hope is that we get a DualShock version follow-up to the PlayStation Classic that fixes all of the issues of this tiny little terror. I'll keep the dream alive, because if I relied on this mini little PlayStation console, My dreams would be hot, dirty, nasty garbage. Remember, stay digitally distracted, but not with this thing. Just don't. Darn it. Oh, hello, you're still here. I was just talking to the Ultimate Game Day PlayStation Classic list. This is my perfection list. This is just for me. This is not catered to everybody, but I figured I'd share it with you. Here we go. Chrono Cross, boom. Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy Tactics, and then this is a toss-up. Gran Turismo, Driver 2, or Vigilante 8, one of those. Then Guardians Crusade, The Legend of Dragoon, Mega Man Legends 2, Metal Gear Solid, Parappa the Rapper, Parasite Eve, or Silent Hill, your choice. Suikoden, Suikoden 2, Saga Frontier, Spider-Man, come on, the original Spider-Man on PlayStation, Tekken 3, Tomb Raider, and then either Wild Arms, which we got, or Thousand Arms. I have to hug myself so that I don't get too angry about this system.